Hi there, welcome everyone. This presentation was kind of a fluid conversation in one of our workforce development meetings. We're like, well, what else is important as we think about transitioning careers, applying, updating our CV? Well, psychologically, this thing called imposter syndrome might pop up. So we thought it might be relevant to review what imposter syndrome is, what the symptoms might be, and most importantly, how to overcome it so that you can be a strong candidate for your next journey. So a little bit of a busy slide, but I'll summarize a little bit about me. So I'm an adult psychiatrist. I coordinate the mental health DAO here at We Love SF and GEO. I've been in practice for over 10 years, have seen over 4,000 patients. I used to be at Kaiser Permanente in Oakland before I joined GEO last year and helped with the mental health DAO. A little bit of my own personal story with imposter syndrome. I'm originally from Sarajevo, Bosnia, and my family left in the 90s during the war, and then we immigrated to Germany. So that was kind of my first experience assimilating to a new culture, a new country, a new language, and really feeling into what it feels like to not truly belong or feeling like you haven't really earned your spot. After Germany, we moved to the United States, to San Diego, and I had to learn English and prep for med school and feelings of, gosh, am I going to be able to do all this? So feelings of imposter syndrome creeping back in, even in early 20s through my late 20s. So I'm familiar with the feeling and emotion, and also have built resilience and endurance, how to overcome it, and some skill sets that I'd love to share with you guys today. All right, so raise your hand. Have you ever felt like you're a fraud despite all your achievements in education? I know I have. Look around the room. Almost everybody raised their hand. Which brings me to the second point, that this is a very, very, very common feeling, especially during career transitions. So we'll explore and define it a little bit further, how to recognize it, and practical strategies to overcome it. So, what is imposter syndrome? It is the persistent feeling of self-doubt and fear of being exposed as a fraud despite evident success and achievements. Some key characteristics: feeling like achievements are due to luck. It's like, oh, I just fell into this role, or I just got this position because I knew a friend, not really because I'm skilled or know what the heck I'm doing. It can't be because of my actual skill set, can it? So you're kind of in this perpetual loop of discounting your own hard work and successes and focusing on perceived, keyword perceived, shortcomings. Okay, some signs you might be experiencing imposter syndrome: chronic self-doubt, maybe a need for perfectionism. Just when that CV or resume is done, you're like, no, I think it's missing one or two more things. I should add this. Did I add too much? Second guessing yourself. Attributing success to external factors, like I mentioned, like luck or timing. Over preparing, never really feeling like it's quite ready. Difficulty accepting praise. I've been there before. It's like, you did a great job. Did I? I think I did. Accepting the compliment. Yeah, I did a good job today. Fear of being exposed or not or being competent enough. All right. So why might imposter syndrome creep up even more intensely during a career transition? Well, new roles often trigger even more self-doubt. It's kind of like our brain, the way it works is when it's in the unknown, when it's going towards a new experience, we don't have the neural pathways that have been there before to make it comfortable, right? This is all new territory. And unfortunately, the brain doesn't like new territories too much. And what does it do? It steps into fear and paralysis mode. It's like, well, I haven't been here before, so therefore it must be scary and must be bad, and I'm not going to do a good job. So comparing oneself to colleagues or other candidates as you're applying to new positions and interviewing against other people, you might be doing the classic compare to despair thing, right? So what we want to try and do is really just highlight your own skills and own strengths. And even if somebody is or seems just as qualified as you, doesn't necessarily mean that they are. And when you do the comparison game, it often just diminishes your own potential. So the consequences of doing so might hinder your own confidence, might actually affect your job performance, and can lead to burnout. How to overcome imposter syndrome. First step, acknowledge it. I like to use the term name it to tame it. So if you're like, oh, I'm sitting with myself and I'm having a sensation go through my body or mind that's saying, I'm not really feel like I'm up to the task. I don't feel like I'm good enough. Instead of pushing it away, resisting it, sit with it. Okay, emotions are like a little flowy river. It's like, okay, hi, fear. Hello, fear of being a fraud. You're back. I see you were here yesterday and you're back to greet me again today. All right. Sit with it, befriend it, reflect on it, journal on it, walk on it for a little bit. And what that does is it disempowers the feeling or the thought or the emotion. The more you sit with it, the less and less and less power you give it. We'll talk about this in a little bit further detail, but reframing your thoughts is really key. So replacing that inner critic with affirmations such as, I earned this position through my own skills, my own hard work, and years-long dedications. One trick is a success journal. Now, it doesn't have to be anything formal. I'm a big fan of small victories matter. Sometimes it can be overwhelming whenever we open up a journal. It's like, what big thing did I accomplish today? It's kind of similar to gratitude. You don't have to go big. You can just be like, okay, I helped a colleague out with a task that they didn't know how to solve, or um, I'm presenting here today. That's pretty cool. And you can you can write that down either in the morning or before you go to bed, right? To just train the brain into positive loop instead of the unknown negative feedback loop. Sharing your feelings, you are not alone in this. Remember how many people raise their hands? We've all been there. We've all had imposter syndrome feelings. So talk to each other, talk to a mentor, a family member, a therapist, a friend. What that does is, as Kristen Neff said in Self-Compassion, whenever we realize that we're not alone in this, it takes the power away from the fear loop. So talking about it's like, oh, this person is experiencing it, my friend is experiencing it, my boss is experiencing it. We're all in this together. So imposter syndrome, when you zoom out, is tied into self-confidence and self-worth, which is a longer journey. So the more you practice tips and tricks to overcome imposter syndrome, the more confident you will be in your own self and your own self-worth. So instead of saying, I'm not good enough, or if you notice that you're saying that to yourself, either out loud or silently, notice it and try to replace it with affirmations like, I bring strength, adaptability, and dedication. I am here because I am ready and I am capable. I have worked through challenges and come out stronger. And that's kind of focusing on current strengths. If you want to boost it even more, you can journal or write down past successes and past wins. And they don't have to be just professional, they can be personal as well. Okay, that one time it was really challenging with family dynamics. This is how I was shining bright. That one time that I helped out a stranger. That one time I helped out my company or my boss. Write it all down. Again, when you do so, and the more you practice it, you lessen the fear loop and increase and improve the positivity, self-confidence loop. Remember, and you can even write this down on a mirror or as a post-it, imposter syndrome is a false belief, right? Sometimes it feels so somatic and so ingrained that we feel it in our stomach and in our heart. Oh, it must be true that I'm not good enough. But it really is a false belief. And the more you look at that statement, the more you can kind of demystify that it's not really, really true. You can also remember that no one is 100% ready for a new job. It's much better to take the first step, even if it doesn't feel quite perfect, even if it doesn't feel quite done. The people who get to be more or reach successful steps faster are the ones who are just trying instead of waiting for that perfect moment for something to be ready. And remind yourself that every expert was once a beginner. And then I'll leave it with two cognitive behavioral therapy practices that are pretty easy to implement. This one has 4 steps, and the next one will have 3 steps. So the first method is called thought recording technique for imposter syndrome. So when a negative thought pops up, like I'm not feeling qualified or good enough for this role that I'm applying for, write down the automatic negative thought. Step number 2, identify the evidence supporting this thought. Well, why am I thinking that I might not be up for this job? Oh, because I made mistakes in the past about a presentation. It's like, okay, you've made a mistake. Step 3, identify evidence against this thought. Okay, that could be, for example, I've been praised for my work multiple times. I might have slipped up on a presentation before, but overall, through months, through days, through years, I have really proven myself to be a strong employee and have gotten excellent feedback despite a few mistakes. So step 4 is really kind of summarizing all of that to bring a balanced, more realistic thought process. Replace the original thought with a more balanced statement, such as, okay, I've made mistakes, but I've also succeeded and earned much positive feedback. So do you see how we kind of started with, I'm not qualified for this role, and ended with, wait, those were just maybe 2, 3 mistakes. But overall, I'm a fully capable, strong, resilient human being. Again, tricking the mind so that it doesn't go into fear and what if mode. And the next CBT technique is called cognitive restructuring. It has 3 steps. So first one is identifying a distorted thinking pattern. Remember how in the beginning we can think that maybe we just got lucky. Oh, I just got lucky because it was a sunny day and I happened to run into that person and that's why I got the job. Step 2, challenge this pattern. Well, what would I say to a friend who felt this way? And is this really 100% true, or am I ignoring my actual accomplishments and skill sets? And step 3 is reframe. Reframe the thought to be more realistic and positive. Okay? My dedication, my skills, my aptitude led me to this opportunity, not luck, not coincidence. It's my skill sets and my resilience and my strength. And I'll leave us with self-compassion. These 3 items are from Kristen Neff's work. You can check out her book. It's called Self-Compassion. She, a couple years later, then did one specifically for women that's called Fierce Self-Compassion. This is also tied into imposter syndrome. So how do we build ourselves up? How do we have self-confidence? Well, before we can be self-confident, we have to have love, self-love and self-compassion. 3 ways you can practice self-compassion. Self-kindness. Speak to yourself as you would with one of your closest friends, right? So you can really go through a visualization. If you feel like you're saying mean things or critical things of yourself, close your eyes and say those same things as if your bestie and best friend was standing in front of you. How would you speak differently? Would you be kinder? Would you be softer? Would you be like, hey, that's okay. You can try again tomorrow? Another technique, if not visualizing your best friend standing in front of you, is you can have a picture of the younger version of yourself. So a picture of a 7 or 8 year old you on the mirror on your desk. How would you speak to a younger version of yourself? Would it be kinder, or would it be as harsh as the inner critic can be sometimes? Second step to self-compassion, embrace common humanity. That goes back to you're not alone in feeling this way, right? Sometimes when we feel fearful or sad, we can further isolate. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just want to be by myself. And unfortunately, what that does is making it feel like it's just me experiencing this emotion. But that's not really the case. So the more you talk and reach out to your community, the more you're going to realize everybody is experiencing this. This person has been there, that person has been there. We're all in it together. And that makes it feel like you are empowered to overcome not your solo journey, but it's really a collective journey that we're on. Practice mindfulness is the last one. Acknowledge inner critic thoughts and self-doubt emotions without judgment. I bolded that on purpose, without judgment, right? So when we're meditating, when we're closing our eyes, when we're going for a walk, that judgment can really become strong. So when you notice it, again, name it to tame it. Hello, judgment, you're back, judging away. I'm going to ask you to take a back seat because I prefer to be aware and curious instead, right? So maintain a curious and aware thought process rather than a judgmental one. All right, that wraps up imposter syndrome. Thank you so much. If anybody has thoughts or questions or comments, I'll take those now. Everybody's feeling self-confident and empowered. I like it. Thank you guys.